Hey everyone, welcome back to Plot Profit Academy. Today I'm really excited to join by Ron Apke from the Apke Brothers. Ron and his brother have built a name for themselves in the land investing space, and I'm excited to be able to pick his brain and his journey today and hopefully get some tips to be able to help you in your land investing business. So, Ron, thanks so much for joining us today.
Yeah, awesome, Hunter. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to doing this.
Thank you so much. So, Ron, for those that don't know you, can you give a quick background on you yourself and your brother and how you guys kind of got into the land investing space?
Yeah, so probably 6, 7 years ago, Daniel came to me and I was a high school, or I'm sorry, college basketball coach. Daniel was doing outside sales, stuff like that. And he came to me with the idea of land. He comes to me with some crazy stuff every once in a while. I don't know if this was, we were doing some real estate stuff. We had rental properties, things like that. But I just, it intrigued me because honestly, Hunter, a lot of things, and a lot of people in land too, it's okay, going away from like the natural stuff, the wholesaling houses, the flipping house, all this stuff. And it just kind of intrigued me, like, why aren't more people doing this in land? So that's really how we got started. And we're looking at our number. Like it was a struggle at first, like first 3 months, 4 months, we didn't get a deal. And then like from there, we did 50 deals in our next 7 months. So it was kind of like it was learning curve, seeing what our marketing strategy was going to be. But that's how I got into it. Daniel called me one day. He's like, "What do you think about land flipping?" I'm like, "All right, let's do it." And then we probably started the next week.
Wow, you guys kind of really just jumped straight into it. And so, did I hear correctly that you or your brother had also done some sort of real estate stuff beforehand, or was it just you guys kind of jumped into real estate from there?
So we had a commercial property that we owned together, but issue with owning long-term properties is it just doesn't make much money in the short, like month to month. It's not making us much money. It's not helping me quit my job, anything like that. So that's why we kind of something that we're flipping. In my mind, like active income is how you're going to make more money in anything, honestly. Like trying to have this passive income you're not going to replace your job with. And flipping stuff, obviously, is how you can make a lot of money, whatever you're flipping, whether you're flipping baseball cards or houses or land, all these different things. Flipping is active income. You can make a lot of money. So that's why it kind of intrigued me. But yeah, we had a rental property to answer your question.
Okay, cool. So before you had gone to land investing, you kind of knew a little bit about, real estate market in general, but had never done anything with just raw land until he had come to you. And does that sound right?
Correct.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I didn't realize that. So the first 3 months was kind of a struggle for you guys, but you guys kept pushing through because you were one of the first kind of people to kind of get into this. Because 6, 7 years ago, you never heard of anybody. Even today, it's not something that people talk about a ton, obviously. But 6, 7 years ago, nobody was talking about land investing. So how did your brother even run into that?
Yeah, I mean, he had so he sold a drop shipping business probably in our first 3 months of while we're in land. He's I want to go full in the land, and he sold his drop shipping business. He had some mentors, Mike and Joe Brusca, who were in drop shipping. They kind of brought land to him, and they're kind of talking about different things with it. So yeah, he was big in like the entrepreneur space. He was doing Kindle publishing, a lot of different things. And he talked to them about land. And that's when we kind of naturally, that's when he brought it to me and we just dug into it more. Okay, how can we do this? What's their strategies? Because they had done some deals too. So we learned some from them. They helped like what they're doing. And we just honestly, like when we got into it, Hunter, like we just scaled it up to the next level. Okay, more marketing is going to make us more money. And we just scaled up really fast and kind of threw everything at it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It seems like you guys got into it at a really good time. It just kind of seems like almost like happenstance, almost that somebody else kind of had heard about it and let you guys know about it, and then you kind of ran with it. And obviously have made a really big name for yourself in this space. So what do you think? Do you think that as far as your business goes right now, do you just chalk it up to just chance and timing that you're able to do this well? Or do you think that there's like repeatable steps that people can do today to see similar success?
No, I think there's definitely repeatable steps. I mean, are the strategies a little different? Absolutely. But there's so many resources, there's so many softwares, there's so many ways to do this business that like were not a luxury to what we had 7 years ago. It just was not. It was more brute force. Like everything about the business was more difficult, to be honest, other than maybe there's a few less letters out there. But texting wasn't a thing back then. It was like we were just direct mail. So yeah, you definitely can. It's just there's different strategies today and finding that different strategy and then doubling down. And I think too many people are hopping around from marketing strategies. Too many people are hopping around with different things, and it's not doing that. It's kind of getting them having an unfocused business.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And I think that the reason why I asked that question is because I totally agree with you. I just feel like there's a lot of people when they hear about, this business, they think, "Oh, if I had started, 6, 7 years ago, then I could
Hmm.
have had a successful business, but, since I didn't do that, it's too competitive now," or whatever
Yeah.
excuse they use. So what I know that you've run into a lot of people that have said that. So what's your like first thing that you tell them when they kind of bring that up?
I mean, I can find text messages from people who said the same stuff 6 years ago. And it's just always going to be a thing. People are always looking for a reason like why not. But you just look at the halves. Who is doing it? Hunter, there's a reason you're in this business. Like you're not running away from the business. There's plenty of people. So if someone else can do it, like why can't you? Is kind of my thought. And that's what like, okay, if you don't believe in yourself to do the business, that's one thing. But if you're blaming the business model on why it's not working, like that's just not it's just not realistic because no one would be in it because it wouldn't be working, but it's working for thousands of people, I would say, different niches, everything like that. So, I mean, it's working. It's just, it's not working for whoever is asking the question at that time.
Exactly, exactly. It's either not working for them or they're just trying to find any excuse to be able to say, "Oh, I could have done it. I could
Yeah,
have."
100%. Yeah, it's easy. It's easy to say, yeah, if it was 5 years ago, if it was 6 years ago, there's a lot of things that sucked about the business 6 years ago. There were a lot, like I've spent tens of thousands, I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars sending mail to properties with houses on them, properties with that are landlocked. There's so many different things. Like it was, I spent my marketing expenses were so much higher than if I remarketed all the pieces of land that I did from let's say like 2019 to 2021, my marketing expenses would probably be 40% of what they were back then, just because of filtering land. That's a huge thing that people don't realize.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, speaking of filtering the land, I know that we kinda talk about this in our community, but can you kinda go into your program or software that you use that kind of filters the land and what that kind of entails?
Because of this issue that I'm talking about, the first, whatever, 4 years of our business is why we started to build Land Portal, whatever, 24, 20, 30 months ago or so. So we use landportal.com and we built and use landportal.com. And what that does is essentially, as you know, it gets rid of all it filters out vacant lots really well. It's not just based on what the county's saying. And that's one of the issues when we started this business. We're doing deals in rural Kentucky. Counties are 5 years behind on their data and what they say. So they're saying these lots are vacant they're saying these lots are vacant. We look at it like there's houses on like 60% of these lots. So we're using AI with that. You can filter out landlocked properties, just a lot of different things. Like our biggest thing is like does 95% of your marketing go towards good land? If we can do that, like we're going to save so much marketing spend. You have to do the job on the phone, negotiating everything like that. But if you can target good land efficiently, it makes it so much easier to do this business.
No, 100%, 100%. Even when I started a year or 2 ago, it, we didn't even have that at that point, and so it's just for people that say, "Oh, I wish I would've started, however many years ago," there's so many more things, so many advantages to starting now because AI wasn't a thing 6, 7 years ago, even, 3, 4 years ago, it wasn't a thing, and then specifically for the land business a year ago,
Mhm.
like, it was still in the very, very beginning stages, if not if I didn't even think that we had a year ago, how long ago did you guys start the land portal with all the AI stuff?
So it's probably been on market for about 18 months, I would say. AI stuff, I mean, as you know, being a user of it, like it's always changing. The software is
Yeah,
always, we're trying to improve the software. But yeah, 18 months ago, then we started adding some AI stuff those first few months, I think, with the landlocked, vacant, all these different
yeah.
things. But yeah, we probably started building it probably a little over 2 years ago, I'd assume.
That's awesome. That's cool because you were one of the first implementers of, AIs everywhere. And in the land investing space, land investing in general isn't that big. Even today, if you compare it to other forms of real estate, like investing, it's very, very small, which is another reason why when people say, "Oh, it's too competitive," I'm always like, "Okay, then go try and do some wholesaling of houses and you'll actually see what competitive means."
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys kind of jumped on the AI train. You were just in the right place at the right time, but also you guys, it wasn't just the right place at the right time. You actually pushed forward, just like in the land investing business 6, 7 years ago when you started. If you were like, "Oh, this is a
Mhm.
great opportunity," but you only sent out 500 pieces of mail a month, you could have been like, "Oh, this business doesn't work," So what kind of your first thing that you say to someone that's maybe hesitant to start the business, what would you say that the first step should be for that kind of a person to get them out of that analysis paralysis?
I mean, if they're hesitant, like you want to be committed. Like Dan and I recorded a podcast yesterday, and it was like it was about that. And I'm not big on pushing people to do stuff that they're not ready to do. I try to give them the facts, like the possibilities, everything like that, and then like they can make a educated decision. Yeah, you can go down the YouTube rabbit hole and watch YouTube for the next year. I'm sure you definitely could do that. You want to educate yourself about the business model, what it takes, and talk to people. I think talking to people is like one of the biggest things. Like, what does it actually take to be successful in this business? And some people like just reach out to, when you reach out to a big free community, like if, our free Discord community, for example, and like you ask, what's going on with this business? Is it too saturated? Is it this? Like, you're going to get a lot of negative comments of people who aren't really doing anything versus reaching out to people who are actually taking action. Okay, what does it actually take? I know you're really good at networking, Hunter. And it's huge. Okay, reaching out, talking to people who are doing it well, maybe people who are struggling, everything in between. But yeah, educating yourself. I'm not one to like push people like you need to be doing this. I just tell them about the facts, like what it can do, the possibilities. And then, yeah, if they want to talk to people, obviously talk to people. But I don't think we're in the business of convincing someone to make a life-changing thing if they're not ready for it themselves.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So it sounds like if they're ready to do it, they'll kind of just start it, but you're not in your mind, if they're going to do it, they're going to do it. You'll just kind of
I,
tell them the facts.
I'm big on word of mouth, word of mouth. Like for my education, everything that I do, like I'm really, really big on word of mouth. And if I oversell something, I'm worried about like bad word of mouth. And I'm going to be very transparent with anybody who comes to me, whether they're a close friend or they're someone that I just met for the first time. Like very transparent what this, like I said, what this business is about. And because if they do take that step, they invest in whatever they invest in.
Yeah.
They invest in something. Like I want them to at least give the business model a chance. And that helps good word of mouth. Ron told me exactly what this business took. I didn't do it. Like it's not on him, it's on me.
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense. It just seems, and the thing is, for me, I mean, nobody convinced me, oh, you have to do this. I just looked into the business model in general and I saw what was possible, which seems like that's kind of what you guys did. And it seems like when someone actually goes into a small rabbit hole and sees what's possible with it, sees what other people have done with it, it almost feels like a no-brainer. And that's why I was so excited when I first started, and still excited today, obviously. But when I first started, I was like, wow, holy heck, I did not know that this was, first of all, even a business model, and I did not know it could be this profitable this fast. And so I know this has been my experience. You just said that it was your experience when you first started. Those first three, sometimes it's those first 3 to 6 months for a lot of people are the hardest. What did you guys do to stay motivated to actually push through that to get to where you are today?
I think, and I was talking to someone about this yesterday. Excuse me. I think always looking at like the bigger picture of things. If you try to analyze like the success of each day, each week, even each month, like it's something like, okay, that didn't work, but what are we leading towards? Like failed mailers, failed marketing campaigns don't necessarily have to be failures. Like you can learn from them. And that's what it was so big for us those first 3 months. Like we spent a lot of money on marketing and we just learned from it. We made adjustments. We went to some desert square areas early on because we knew no better. So it's okay, this isn't working out. Like even if I do get a deal, I'm going to make $2,000. That's not fun. So we just made adjustments, learned from our failed marketing, and kind of had the bigger picture because our belief in the business model never really wavered. Like
Yeah.
we believed in the business model and we just knew we had to kind of stay consistent. It is hard though. Like it's easy
Yeah.
to say now, so long after that. But in the moment, like I'm spending a lot of money on marketing every week. Like this is a little scary. And then you don't want to get desperate at the same time. You don't want to get desperate on the phones with sellers. But yeah, it's staying consistent, I think, believing in the business model as a whole.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. That's similar thing with me. Cause I remember, I don't know if you remember this, but I remember when I don't remember which month I was in the business, but I was kind of at that point where it was kind of a breaking point for me. I was like, we've gotten like a deal or two, but like, I need to like make this work kind of a thing. But my belief in the business model never wavered that it wouldn't work. I was just like, there's has to be something that I'm doing that maybe is, I know somebody else can give me the answer to that. So obviously, community is super important in any business. In this business, it, saved my business because I was able to talk with somebody. They're able to give me some advice, give me some encouragement. And Yeah, what role has I know because you guys have your own Discord community and all that. What community did you have at the beginning to help you kind of stay motivated to ask questions, bounce stuff off of people? Did you have anything like that or no?
Yeah, it's definitely smaller. Like we had little mastermind groups. Like we tried to network everything like that. Like it definitely helps. I think just like small, like or like I said earlier with Dan's mentors, we would meet with them, and then we'd kind of meet some other people. And there were more people doing this than you realize
Hmm.
back then. So that there were people doing it. So you just gotta find different niches, different communities, different masterminds, and you try to get around people who are the hard part for us. And maybe it sounds arrogant. I don't know, but the hard part for us was like finding people that were attacking the business as hard as we were, like sending as much marketing. Like a lot of the people, it just was lower volume stuff for a lot of people. Where now you can find someone who's sending 200,000 text messages per month relatively easily. But back then, it was like I was trying to find someone who was sending more than 3,000 mailers a month. We were sending 20 to 25,000 mailers within our first few months. So we were definitely doing, but you still like learning from the people, talking to them, helping them out too, just helping them as much as we can because we were obviously learning kind of fast with just sending that much mail. You learn a lot of things really fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are little groups that we were a part of
That's cool. Yeah, that's another perk for starting, in today's age that you can, there's all these different communities that you're able to join that you can
for
talk
sure.
to a lot of different people, have a lot of experience. So I know that's helped me. And back in the day, that's cool that you still are able to have some people, but a little bit harder it seems to be able to network and find, the specific groups back in the day. But now that we have so many, it's awesome. But yeah, how do you see, I know this is something that I've thought about and I'm interested to pick your brain on it. How do you see the land market changing as far as how many people joining or different types of marketing, wherever you want to take this? How do you see land market and just the land business changing in the next year or two?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think about this. It's hard to predict exactly where
Yeah.
it's going to go. I think targeted marketing is going to be big on like targeting specific deals. I think niches, that kind of stuff, like trying to not necessarily your first, second, third deal. It doesn't necessarily have to be some kind of crazy niche or something, but like getting narrowed down in niches, I think, and it's happened already. Like it's not like that's just in the past, but having some skill set. I understand this area, I understand how to do subdivides, I understand how to do put a mobile home and lot, clear a lot, whatever it is in a certain area. Like getting more maybe area specific uh, marketing, definitely more targeted marketing, I think. But that being said, like I talk to so many people that are doing such high volumes, and it's just because doing this business at volume, in my opinion, how are you going to make the most money in this business? Doing this business at volume, sending mass text, mass mail, all that is how you make the most money in this business. Like I think you really narrow down and you're gonna maybe work less, do less deals, make solid money, but you're gonna make less money. The people who are making the most money in this business are sending out incredible amounts of bulk marketing. So if you want to make the most possible money, like you got to build an infrastructure around that. But for the people coming in, niches, targeted marketing, I like cold calling a lot, but
Yeah.
really, I don't know. I think finding your niche in marketing and in what types of deal you're doing for sure. But if I was to start this business like right now, like I'm more of a bulk guy. Like I just let's get as many leads as possible. Let's make as much money as I can. We right now are more targeted in our business where we want to do big subdivide deals, that kind of stuff, because I don't have the time or mental capacity to do 100 deals per month right now. So yeah, it's more target right now for our business, but getting started, like bulk definitely still works, and there's still return on ad spend.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So it sounds for maybe the people that are already doing, big amounts of volume, it's not really going to change too much. But for people that are just starting in, really niching down is going to be even more important because obviously there's going to be more people that are going to be doing bulk and they know the business 1,000 times better than someone coming in trying to do the same thing, but only at, sending out 1,000 mailers a month.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think sales skills are really important always in this business, really in most businesses. I don't think that much is going to change, honestly, Hunter. I think a lot of the change has already happened. Like the people who are good at this business, who understand the business, I don't think it's luck of the draw or anything like that. The people who can operate this business are going to keep doing well. And the people who come in and know how to operate and take chances and everything like that are going to come in and do well. So I think there's so much opportunity in different areas. I don't think there's going to be a crazy amount of change in the next 12, 18 months.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. And if anything, it's going to just keep getting more accessible for people that are just starting, even if it is they have the niche down. There's the land portal, which obviously we use in our business, that makes it starting out so much easier. I mean, there's, the AI pricing on there, which maybe not using it, it's always good to, know how to price yourself, just because I think that's a valuable skill in and of itself. But I mean, for someone starting out, if I had that when I started out, that would have been so nice, just to be able to
Mhm.
give yourself a sanity check to look and be like, oh, I think it's this much. Let's see what this is saying. And, it's just so much more accessible now than even when I started, and way more than when you started. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all the questions I had for you today, unless you had something else you wanted to say to kind of wrap it up. But where can people connect with you and learn more about you and kind of what you're doing?
Apke Brothers YouTube channel. It's probably the best spot where there's content from us from a from a long time ago up till
Yeah.
you guys can see the changes and everything. That's probably the best spot. But no, I appreciate this. Is a fun conversation. I'm excited to see where you take this. You're obviously you're doing amazing in your business, so I'm excited to see where you take this. And yeah, really appreciate you having me on.
I hope you have a great rest of your day, and thanks for kind of tuning into the Plot Profit Academy. Hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, guys.